stop believing.
Okay, Leonard, did it add the goatee to your face?
Don't stop believing in the AI.
Because when you move, sometimes the goatee moves.
Maybe we should say, don't start believing the AI.
Yeah, don't start believing in AI because it's not all that great.
Don't start believing.
You don't, and when you're looking down playing the guitar, sometimes your eyebrows are like moving high and low.
The goatee shifts a little bit.
Here's the thing. My eyebrows are thinning, kind of like my hairline here. I used to have so much hair that it would push forward and I couldn't comb it back. Now, I don't have enough to comb back. It's like...
Old people problems.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's why.
Mine is the gray. The gray is coming in.
Old first world.
He was like, hold my beer on the ground.
Hey, I turned 50 I turned 50 in November. It's getting real.
You're a kid. Come on,
there's no way.
Youngin.
You look like you're 35.
You're a kid, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
well, my body says yes, Stephanie. You are feeling every bit of 50.
Well,
before you guys joined, we were commenting on Leonard's AI generated goatee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fake. Okay.
Well, I'm always envious of you, Rob. You know, you have this perfectly beautiful.
I know. Rob's got it's a work of art there.
Action.
My 17-year-old has a full beard right now because he can. He's not in school and he is not asked to shave his face. So it is. He looks like everyone was calling him the 30-year-old man, and I'm like, he's 17. Looks like.
Hey, look! My cup has a goatee.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
My cup has a goatee. Well, see, this is what half of Asian people have to do to actually get a goatee. We have so little facial hair, and
there's a use case right there.
Yeah, and
but you know,
we found one. We found a use case.
Yeah. This is actually pretty interesting comment because this shows how much this AI still doesn't have a freaking clue about context. because it doesn't know that the goatee is attached to the face. So if you put your mug in the between, the mug get the goatee. This is exactly what AI does today.
Yeah, but 80% of the time.
Wait for ChatGPT 5.
It gets it right, you know?
It's gonna change everything, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah. Oh my God. Look who's joining.
I know.
I know. Hey, everybody. Welcome to IoT Coffee Talk. My gosh.
We have more than a quorum this time, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Hello.
We haven't seen you in a long time, buddy.
Oh, and he's got his little boopy in the background. I see.
I'm alive.
You are. So, hey, welcome everyone to IoT Coffee Talk. Remember, take us seriously at your own risk. We have offloaded all risk onto you. This is our safe harbor disclosure. Don't invest or do anything according to what we say. We're just having fun, and we hope you have fun too. And, you know, I got some goatee action going on here. So we're testing out some AI, some Zoom AI. And according to Dimitri, it sucks. But I think it's kind of cool. It's helped me do the impossible, which is actually grow a nice goatee that's on par with what Rob has.
AI solving problems.
You got me wrong. You got me wrong, Leonard. It is not that it sucks. It's just that it's irrelevant of what most of AI does, which means it doesn't have context enough to attach the goatee to your face. So if you put a mug in between, mug gets the goatee. So I'm not saying it sucks. It just does what it can do, which is not understanding anything at all.
But as Pete said,
it did not figure out the layers way.
The GPT-5 will figure it out.
So that whole goatee prompt API thing going.
Is GPT going to be goatee perfected technique?
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Okay, now I know what it means.
Minimum viable product testing.
It's GPT plus. That's where you get the goatee features. You have to pay the extra.
Oh yeah, it's going to be
An extra Copilot subscription.
Yeah.
Love it.
Ryan, what have you been up to, man? I mean, you know, we haven't seen you in a while, so give us an update. What's been shaking in your world?
I've been, I started a new job, Freewave Technologies. They're based out of Boulder. And they, it's been awesome. They've been doing the private wireless infrastructure game for over 30 years. So a lot of alignment, and they're listening to their customers and building, like a lot of companies are, right? They're building out more cloud solutions. They're looking at utilizing data, and I'm learning a lot about satellite networks. I did a lot of cellular, 900 megahertz, all that. And now I'm learning more about the difference between low Earth orbiting satellites versus
Cool and Ka.
So a lot of learning, a lot of building, a lot of fun, but still, I'm going to see if I can get this on camera without exploding it. Still building, got science experiments, put in some sensors and some satellite gateways. So building solutions.
Yeah, well, Mike Tate reached out to me this morning, Ryan. So congratulations. As you know, I sent you a note. So that's awesome. I love those notes.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah. Mike Tate, great guy. He's the boss man. So I definitely can't say anything bad about him on camera either, but off camera as well.
You can if you want.
Great.
It's up to you.
Your own risk. Yeah.
We'll cut that
It's
out.
your own risk.
We'll edit that out. No, seriously, it's been a great company culture-wise, and it's nice to be a part of somewhere where everyone's building, and there's just something in the air when you're creating new stuff, and they really listen to the customer. So it's been fun, definitely.
You listen to the customer? What?
Yeah, we listen to the customer here. It's crazy. It's a whole new business model. It's very new to the market. It's they tell us what they want, and then we build it.
What? That doesn't sound reasonable.
So you're gonna make faster horses, right?
Yeah, faster horses.
That's right.
Yep, like
Henry
Henry Ford
whips.
said. Yep, just like Henry Ford said. If I asked them what was the phrase? If I asked them what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
Yeah. Well, you're making an interesting point. Most customers, go outside to get help in solving problems, not necessarily to quote unquote innovate. And I think there's far too many people these days going in and trying to sell quote unquote their version of innovation rather than solving problems, right? Because solving problems sucks because you actually have to deliver on something, whereas ideating through what a transformation journey can look like, you can just make crap up. And it's a fun exercise, really expensive, but how often does that result in anything?
Leonard Lee's entire career has been based on just making stuff up.
That's what I was about to say. Don't kill your business, Leonard.
Leonard, have you ever thought about making your own LLM?
No, we already have ChatGPT for that, so it's already
Leonard
covered.
Lee model. LLM.
Leonard Lee model. Yes.
Oh my God! You know what? Some people have threatened me with that.
Oh no!
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's not. But in the analyst community, the one thing people notice is like, oh, you actually built stuff. You did things.
Right.
And it makes a big difference, right? Even if, as a strategist, I was on delivery. I was delivering things, designing things before I did the strategy stuff, and now the analyst stuff that I'm doing now. So that helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's going on in tech this week? Anything exciting?
Elon's moving his headquarters to Texas, the Twitter headquarters to Texas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in Austin, so
what's left of-
we'll take it. We'll take the economy.
Yeah.
We'll take it all.
Sure.
Is he bringing?
I think it's just SpaceX that's moving from California to Texas.
I heard he
Which
said
he's already has operations here anyway. So
Yeah.
I heard he's doing all of it. He said he's bringing Twitter
really?
as well. Yeah.
I think that was.
Well, the other thing is today I finally got the email from AT&T about the big data breach, but I'm like, it's been announced for a week, and I just now got the email today. But I also got something in the mail from another vendor that all my credit card information was compromised. I'm like, it is like the summer of breach and like so I'm like, I don't even know where. I'm like, do I just start from scratch? This is insanity.
Data breach summer.
But
maybe
the AT&T stuff, they got they didn't get the full detail of the CDR, the call record, but they got the phone numbers and the text numbers, but not all the detail about time, timestamp and all of that, but enough information where they can take your database of phone numbers and start digging into it, so it's
back you.
Like, great. Thank you.
What is the deal? It's just data breach after data breach. Everybody's getting hacked into oblivion 24/7 now.
And there's no accountability.
Do you guys have the insurance? Like I haven't had to use or call in anything yet, but I'm like, am I getting close to where I'm going to actually have to call the Norton people? Because I do have some kind of, if my identity gets breached, you get X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I wonder what that even looks like. Because I feel like it's coming for a lot of
collecting on insurance is always a fun exercise, So.
Well, it only reveals, your connection to a phone number and then to your graph. But this is pretty much already in so many different places. I mean, I think at this point we live in a world where if you think that your connections and your phone number are private, you're fooling yourself.
That's gone a long time ago.
So that's gone. So this kind of metadata level is gone. This graph is done already. So
unless you go full Unabomber and kind of get a cabin in the woods.
Well, it is
what we're doing.
You can get a
going off grid.
You try to get a new phone number. The problem is that they make it more and more difficult right now because you can't. It's very difficult to get a new phone number anonymously.
No, I think you either need to accept that you're
about the phone numbers. I'm worried more about the credit card transactional information.
Yeah,
I mean, I already know everything else is like full game. Like you can get all my incoming calls, phone numbers, friends, family, business clients. That doesn't bother me as much as the transaction stuff.
I don't.
The credit card companies are pretty good now at identifying kind of fraudulent patterns and refunding things too. So as long as everyone should always be looking at their statements every month, by the way, listeners out there.
Yeah, so it's just the right time to go buy those Chanel bags and say, it wasn't me.
That's right. Those 5 iPhones, it was like, who bought 5
Stephanie,
iPhones?
you bring up Norton, but I called Equifax because I pay the money per month for Equifax controls. Mm-hmm. And they are covering a lot of those things. Norton. So you may be able to get it from both ends.
Yeah, I wonder how do they determine like a value of something? That's what I don't.
Your credit card.
Yeah, but
got that. Yeah.
On the bank account side, the Pandora box is already open, and don't want to like to sound the European conservative communists, but the day we pass this open banking where you can get an API and give rights to a company to go look into your account, it's done. I mean, what those people that buy these, I'm going to save money on my subscription, this stupid app that you download from the App Store. You give your bank information, and you give your bank information, and it scans your transaction.
That's
to look for double subscription. And what do you think it does with this transaction?
Sure.
It stores them so it can find patterns. So it's somewhere databases. And is it anonymized? I don't know. So the day we let that happen.
It's like an unencrypted text file in Windows that's stored.
How does that work with GDPR? I mean, I guess because they're opting in. Like, are they lost? Like, it's insanity.
It's opting in, but since you don't tell people, that's the problem with all this regulation. You say, you have to opt in.
Next. So
and you don't give them you don't explain to people the derivatives of the decision.
They don't understand.
That's the problem.
Nobody understands. I think you either need to go full dark mode. Cash or just accept the fact that all your data is being shared and you need to monitor for discrepancies. That's
cash.
People. Oh my God.
This is a forum.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen the grid. This is like the Brady Bunch.
I know. This is like the live.
Everyone's hearing about Leonard's facial hair and
who's Alice? That's what I want to know. Who's
Wait
Alice?
a minute, you changed your beard. Your goatee's got a little fuzz right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to match Marc here with his little goatee.
Bill's, I think the AI on Bill's facial hair looks great.
I don't trust Bill's one is true now.
I don't know. What is
AI one
what is true facial hair?
Do you have a third-party plug-in here? This is too much fun.
Yeah. I noticed that Texas Hill Country is representing today.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Three of you.
Texas. Lots of Texas.
3 of you in the middle there in the Hill Country. Good for you. And I love how Dimitri just created a new political class, conservative communism. I did not see that coming.
Well, if you follow the news in France with the political system right now, I'm probably not far from the truth, because there's a big stupid battle happening. If you think that we have problem in the US with our campaign, go watch France.
Yeah,
that's pretty scary. Well, at least they didn't have an assassination attempt. I mean,
it's bad.
Anyways, let's not talk about that.
All right.
No.
That's security.
That crap.
Since all we talk about is AI, everybody's favorite reviewer of products and Marques Brownlee on YouTube, that he was commenting yesterday about the scraping of YouTube videos, the scraping of transcripts. He was kind of and this it's up for debate. He was kind of talking about, aside from the time it takes for me to make this video, I pay money to create a perfect transcript of me talking, and then my transcript is scraped by all the AI companies to train their models. And he was just, complaining about, I'm spending money on this stuff and they're just taking it for free. And then, you read comments, people are like, oh, it's on the internet, so too bad, And then there's the copyright side of things and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. He was kind of pissed off about it,
Yeah, it's probably a lopsided thing, just like cybersecurity. You can try to litigate and try to file injunctions to stop these companies from, basically taking what you might think is your creation or your intellectual property, but the little people need leverage, right? Or even Marques Brown, who is he's a pretty big guy, right?
He is.
Yeah, he's a huge YouTuber.
Yeah,
he probably needs help, to go up against the likes of Microsoft and whoever.
Part of it is it should be part of the YouTube term of service, and you could argue if it's not clear that you're giving that consent, then the problem is there's no data set transparency at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And until there's data set transparency regulations where you have to say where you got your data sets from, all this stuff is going to float out there. And I think all these services need to have more terms of service that say, I consent to providing this for AI training and blah, blah, blah. And there should be regulations around that so that it doesn't happen. But it shouldn't be by accident. But right now it is, because it's the Wild West.
But I think Wild West.
But the thing is, consent is a little too extreme, because he basically said that the distribution network owns everything, which I understand from that standpoint. I think the real true answer, but that's a challenge technologically wise, is lineage. Because if you can trace, because then it is reused at some point, if you can trace your source, then you can claim, and you can even imagine a monetization model where you actually, instead of getting money for clicks on ad, you get money because it's being
like a stream on Spotify.
Like
I should get my royalty check.
Where's my check?
That's the scalable solution, because then on top of this data, you can put different regulation. If you just try to say regulation, okay, just give consent and then you're screwed. Okay.
No, I agree. There needs to be transparency, and there needs to be some.
On the other end, to play the devil advocates, these guys make millions because of their YouTube channel, and this is a distribution model that costs them zero. So you're creating content, but build your own streaming platform like YouTube to distribute your content and make your money with ads. And let's talk about what you've paid for that. We'll pay you. So
it's never been easier to do this stuff either. I use Parallels Toolbox on my Mac. If you guys are familiar with that, Mac users, it lets you do Windows virtualization. But there's this Toolbox app. And by default, you can download videos or audio. So you can literally go to YouTube, click download video. You can upload that into like an otter.ai, and it'll auto transcribe all of that for you. Drop the text file into ChatGPT and say, give me an outline and summarize. And it takes you 5 minutes.
Boom.
It takes you 5 minutes.
So that's how you're producing.
One question.
Does it do facial hair?
That's how I'm learning.
But who's the owner? But one question to everyone. Who's the owner of a video that it's on YouTube? Is YouTube the owner of the video? Or it's the owner of the channel? Because on Facebook, it's very clear. So on the terms and conditions, if you upload a picture
right? YouTube is the custodian of the video, because they can literally take your stuff down or not allow it to go anywhere. So they act as the gatekeeper, and that's it.
But they're not necessarily the copyright.
Well, they have two terms. Like, so if you go in and you post a video, they have Creative Commons license that you opt into, and that's your choice. Or there's the YouTube terms and services, and I think it has a bit more of the stuff that you probably don't like, but maybe some of the benefits of the network that YouTube provides, right? But yeah, Dimitri, I think you're making a great point. I mean, yeah, these guys, they basically largely free ride on top of the platforms, and it's the same argument for developers with these app stores, the ones that are complaining about that. It's like, well, you're free riding on top of it shouldn't be free. If you think about all the innovation that Google and Apple and others have done to really enable developers, right? Sure. If they had to pay for all the things that you get for distributing and developing on these platforms, that it would take up more than 30% of their revenue, right? I mean, people just forget what it used to be like to run a software company.
Yeah, distribution.
The cost structure was.
You used to have to go to Handango, right? And then
your gross margins are low, but your operating margins are high. SG&A is through the roof. Right?
Yeah, we should send all those kids to an internship into a factories that do shrink wrap. We were shrink wrapping software and putting it on shelf in CompUSA. So, and I think beyond just the tools for developer is the value of the distribution network.
Yeah.
The same thing when Amazon, people complain about, it's being sold on Amazon. But the distribution network is so effective. I mean, you can put any crap product, it gets sold. So you have to think about that.
That's part of the nature of the internet.
Good product
network is like, even like I was listening today about hotels and stuff. Vast majority of hotels go through Expedia. Very few of them get any direct traffic, and they pay a lot of money to get that indirect traffic. It's just like an app store.
Do you want
the nature of the internet?
Do you want your store to be out in the middle of nowhere, or do you want your store to be in the mall?
But I just put a new company's product on the AWS marketplace. I mean, when you're down on the bottom of that, they don't do anything to help you. I mean, you still got to sell your own stuff regardless.
Yeah, that's why
you have to sell internally to Amazon to their specific business units, right? You want to be on that slide deck, on the sustainability group slide deck. Right. One other thing I learned, Steve, what was interesting about the AWS marketplace was, when they agree, like big companies will pay contracts for we're going to use $100 million worth of data in 2 years, right? Well, if they overestimated that, at the end of that 2-year contract, they're still paying the $100 million either way.
Right.
But a specific percentage of that, say it's 20 or 25%, they can use on that marketplace, right? Mm-hmm. So getting listed on that marketplace, you could get the benefits. It's like people use with their flexible spending account funds at the end of the year. They're like, I'm going to lose them, so why not spend $200,000 on this app, right? Mm-hmm. Once I heard that, I was like, wow, I think there's a lot of value on that stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah,
just because you get paid to get on the shelf doesn't mean you're not on the bottom of the shelf on the way to the men's room somewhere at the back of the store.
Yeah, right.
No,
that's where we used to put the Windows phones, by the way. You can always tell people, where's the Windows phone? On the way to the men's room.
The Touch Pro 2s. The Touch Pro 2s.
That's why I said you pay for the distribution network. You're not paying for promotion. You're paying for distribution. But it's already an enormous.
But you got a GitHub out there. I mean, where do they stand in the ecosystem? I mean, that was the whole purpose of them starting.
GitHub's just a bunch of gazintas and gazoutas, man. That's all. It's just like,
doesn't GitHub scans your code and reuse it to do some?
Yeah, they got Copilot on there. They got, that's good.
Now they do.
People are actually using GitHub more for like repository instead of putting stuff on your website. You just go to the GitHub and pull all the docs down and all your decks and all that other
Well,
stuff.
they incentivize you to do that. I mean, it's part of the business.
Some people are using GitHub for their website development too.
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Yeah, they are.
Bill?
Doesn't work that well, but you
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that offline if you want to know.
HTML by hand, header footer.
But it's interesting, the GitHub Actions business model that they created. So you can update with continuous integration, continuous deployment, your software. So there is an interesting business model there, and I'm sure they do a lot of money there.
Yeah, true that.
Cool.
You're right. So we're in the middle of Prime Day right now, aren't we? Yesterday, today.
Oh.
Speaking of Amazon.
Click.
let's click.
There you go.
Clicking.
We just got some money deposited in our account.
I spent like $2,000 2 days ago before Prime Day because I'm like, Prime's going to get so busy and so crazy, and they're already offering deals. And if I order on Prime Day, then I'm going to be, I live out in the country, so it's going to ship later. So I went ahead and got it ordered before Prime Day.
Nice.
Pre-primed.
Pre-primed the Prime. Nice.
Yeah. I read that there's a higher incidence of serious injury among workers in Amazon fulfillment centers during Prime Day days.
More
they're all replaced by robots. I mean, why are they still
That's
workers?
what they keep telling us. So that's how that's what they threaten the employees with. We're going to replace you with a robot if you don't run faster.
Well, and you know what? I believe that there's a good portion of the Prime Day marketing. If you've been looking at specific items over the last 30 days, it's offering that as a percentage, and it's putting the logo of Prime Day on there, even though it may not even be offered to someone else. So I feel like they're really targeting AI Prime deals based on your browsing history. So it's more customized as opposed to
also,
everyone
if you think hard enough about it, it'll show up too.
Yeah. Just speak it into existence. Free Tesla.
Manifest it.
Yeah, that seems to be a quite obvious thing to do given the amount of data they have and the tracking they do. So I'm actually surprised if it's the first time they do that.
You got to be careful too, because sometimes they'll raise the prices right before and then slash it as a discount. So
you mean like a normal retailer does before the sale?
50% off.
It's like it's like the furniture. I always laughed at the furniture store business model. It's the only business model I know where they're like, we're going out of business every week. Any other business, like if I'm selling technology, and I'm like, I'm going out of business, buy it. And they're like, no.
Maybe it's a good idea. Let's think about that.
It's like the news. It's like the news today. Everything is breaking news and news flash. But I was trying to explain this to my son yesterday. We were looking at cereal boxes, and the cereal that he eats, it says family size. And I said, "You see this box?" I'm holding it up. I'm like, "This family size box is actually a normal size box. It's not family size. The old family sizes were way bigger." And I said, "But we're paying twice as much for this family size box."
That's what they call it, shrinkflation.
Yeah, and then when you open it up, it's like half the cereal inside. It's nothing. So we're like, at the same time, we're paying all this money. The sizes of all of our food and the quantity that's in these boxes are down at the same rate. It's like insanity.
And there's not even a whistle into the cereal box anymore because the phone system is different.
Yeah.
Look, and the packaging kills me, right? It's like when you open up some of those like chip bags and stuff like that, and they're like this big, so
all air.
A big bag of chips. Yeah, you open it up. And
I feel like we haven't talked about AI for like 5 minutes. So I feel
I know. Pretty good.
So for the young kids.
Go ahead.
For the young kids who missed the reference, that there used to be a whistle in the cereal boxes in the 80s. And this whistle, when you blew it on the phone system, it would trigger a special mode where you can actually hack the bidding system of the phone company.
That is an esoteric reference.
Freaking.
The coolest thing I ever got from a cereal box, if you go way back in time, on the back of, do you remember anybody Honeycomb cereal way back when? Literally, somehow they made out of the cardboard or whatever a record, and it was like Michael Jackson ABC record on the back of the
back of the cereal box, and
it would play, and so that was the coolest thing I've ever seen on a cereal box.
That was cool. Not
that was
good
very
cool
cool
though, but
it was in Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Record.
So Leonard, you were participating or checking out the Galaxy Unpacked event this summer.
Oh, yeah.
That just happened, where they just dropped a whole bunch of
crap.
stuff.
Yeah.
I missed it because I was in flight, but they did a really good job at Twitter, like direct Twitter messaging. Once you like something over and over and over every day leading up to the event, I'm like, man, they got a huge marketing engine.
They must have a lot of people. They probably have a lot of mechanical Turks all on their computers doing the Twitter thing.
Called interns. Rob,
interns. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's an interesting event. These foldables haven't really taken off, even though a lot of folks in the industry had pontificated that this is going to be the next big thing. But the screens, the foldable screens, have had issues, right? They basically come apart after about a year and a half or 2 years, or at least a few of the analysts that I know who had them. That was one of the things that they experienced. I have a foldable. I have a Lenovo or a Motorola, a Razr Plus, and it's actually pretty good. I use it pretty regularly. It's my second phone that I take on the road. It's a little bit of an awkward form factor, right? I think it's for some people, and it's for probably most, like 98% of the rest of us. It doesn't make a difference, but they're friggin' expensive, man.
There it is.
The fold starts at like $1,900.
Is it possible that these foldables would have been the next big thing if they were half the price?
Yeah, like the Vision Pro.
When no one can afford your next big thing, it can't be a big thing. Maybe they should do a loss leader for a while or whatever, instead of, because you're right, they cost a fortune.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's the feature that makes it cool. I think it's the technology behind it and what else it might be used for later down the road with things that might be more business oriented, like screens that are like display screens or signage. Right. I just don't think that in a form factor for a consumer that it's the cool factor. It's just not. It's not there.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of people that have the Fold, and I played with it. It's really cool. It's great having all that screen real estate and everything. It's really cool. But some people are like, am I going to make a house payment or buy a used car, or am I going to buy the Galaxy Fold?
Yeah, too expensive. Well, once Apple does it, then it'll catch on. So
Yeah.
Right.
And it still doesn't fit in your pocket. I mean, when you show, it's still kind of bulky.
Bigger pockets.
It does bulge quite a bit, and if that's your objective, then it could be a nice add-on feature.
Samsung's going to start.
Steve, are you wearing them skinny jeans?
Samsung's going to subsidize cargo pants with big pockets.
Cargo pants are coming back.
They're going to make smart jeans, and it's just going to have a smartphone pocket. That's going to be the only technology.
Yeah, and I like
it's going to be big enough to fit our phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
We sell bigger pocket clothes with every phone. I mean, that's interesting marketing.
Well, there's a famous anecdote from Sony when they first introduced the pocketable transistor radio in Japan. He outfitted all of his salespeople with special dress shirts that had a bigger pocket on it, and he could show how the radio went into the pocket. But it was actually a custom shirt with a big pocket on it. So,
wow!
You worked for NASA.
Well, remember back in the day when cell phones were so big that you couldn't even put it anywhere except on the table.
Belt loop.
And they also cost like fortune.
That was a status symbol. You plop it on the table at the restaurant and you look like a kingpin, because you got your phone on the table.
Mobile phones.
What was that, Bill?
They were mobile phones.
Oh, yeah.
And when you were in a restaurant, you had to run outside or in the rank because the reception was so bad.
Yeah.
And you were considered wealthy if you had a bag phone. No one could afford those.
Nobody kept those things in the pocket. Back then, I mean, like he said, there's the people who had dinero that had those smartphones, and they would just put it on the table and say, "Hey, look,
Look at me. I made it."
Well, I was watching an episode of the Rockford Files the other day, and they were, he requested the guy Angelo, remember that character? He was kind of in some money, and so he requested a phone at his table at the restaurant, saying, "Bring me a phone," and so they bring a corded phone and stick it on the table. And so
I love that. Really,
that's the player move.
Yeah,
Gordon phone.
Gordon Gekko on the beach. Iconic moment there.
yeah, that was probably like the one bit of science fiction in that movie. But hey, Bill, what's up, dude? Don't be looking down. Wait, we haven't seen you in a while.
Man, I have been running all over the place. You know, it's the week's not the same if I don't get to jump on and see you guys.
Are you busy with True North?
I am.
What's the latest? What's True North all about?
Complete FOMO.
100% we are a software services company. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we've got digital twins as a service, which is being picked up. That's pretty cool because, I mean, we're starting to see a lot more people kind of say, well, can your digital twin run here? Can we do this? Can we do that? So we've got some ecosystem partners that are coming in. We're going to announce some stuff.
Oh, cool.
But you guys were talking about, you know, the whole YouTube thing and how do you prove this? We got this thing that we're doing called audit trails using distributed ledger technology. And I mean, that 100% is what is being used to, you know, kind of say this it started here, the genesis was here, and here's the track that it's taken to get to, you know, whoever it is. So, I mean, there's a million and one actual use cases that we're looking at using audit trails, and it'll make its way into smart cities. I mean, when you start talking about, you know, vehicle to infrastructure, you got to have some transparency and trust around, you know, where those messages are coming from and going. And, you know, how are you going to get to a level of autonomy without having the ability to actually look at the, you know, the provenance and governance of the data.
So what kind of trust governance you guys have for that DLT or building around that DLT? Are you guys, is it like a public blockchain or is it?
We're not a blockchain company.
Thank you.
Distributed. I mean, it's a means to deliver the transparency. You can stop, you know, if you look at data going from one point to the other, there's an opportunity for a digital shredding. There's an opportunity for someone else to do something else to it, and you have no way to determine what that is. So we're not Ethereum based or anything like that. But
you're multi-party though, right?
If anyone's familiar with like Merkle trees and things of that nature, we've kind of got that built in. Worm drive capability built in. So, you know, that's one way to actually you're not familiar with worm drives?
Is that like a jazz drive?
No, it's like write once.
Omega.
Oh,
Is that like a Bernoulli box?
How far behind am I on this technology? Now the wormhole SSDs, what's happening?
Well, it turns out the entire fabric of the universe is woven with wormholes.
Wormholes.
Yeah,
there you go.
But not worm drives.
Not worm drives.
We're going to worm
No,
drive.
I mean it's some pretty exciting stuff. I mean the probably the biggest piece is, like I said, you know, we did not take any VC capital.
There you go. And you're profitable day one.
Day one. I mean, and we're an employee-owned company.
Yeah. You know, that's actually how Apple did it. You know, they were profitable day one, you know, after they, you know, sold a few of their little, you know, computers, and then they got funding to scale out a profitable business, right?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about it is let the projects drive the opportunities as opposed to the opportunities driving the company.
Yeah. And then you had these VCs come in and create these weird valuation mechanisms and put speculation in front of actual, you know, investment in viable businesses is kind of sad. But I mean, you know, you saw that happen during the .com, you know, so kudos to you, man, for building a real business, you know, instead of unicorns.
Yeah, you know what? And fixing problems, right?
Yeah.
When I said before, we sit in the gap of the ugly. We do the stuff that nobody else really wants to do. And we're happy about that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these other companies have technology, and they're like, we just don't know what to do with it.
Oh, man.
We're like, we do.
Leonard.
And then we go. You know?
But you don't have a product. You don't have a scalable product that can scale with gazillions of different people and companies.
We are the product.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
solving the
you're a
problem is the
consultant.
product. Solving the problem is the product.
True North is not a consulting company.
Okay.
True North is a software services company.
So you're heads down writing code all the time then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Ryan, right? Ryan, put up that stuff that you showed earlier. You're building shit.
Yeah. I'm
He's
building
tinkering
shit.
his
Don't call it
toys.
shit.
We got
Yeah.
wires, we got sensors.
What is
Got
this?
wires.
The software.
This is a new one for me. Orbcom
this?
satellite gateway.
Oh, yeah.
wow.
This is fun. This is actually cool. It's got satellite, and then it's got cellular failover. So if one's not working, it automatically switches to the other.
No, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, we didn't. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that come and talk to us. They're like, we've got this, and we can do this, and we can do that. And it's like the fusion of data from multiple sources is a gap area. Nobody's really solving that problem, and we're in the business of solving those problems.
Yeah. There's kind of this tsunami of data coming in. I was talking to somebody in Australia. They said the Sydney water system generates like 1 billion data points annually off of the water system. And the ability to actually aggregate that stuff and make sense of it. This is where kind of the edge AI and LLMs can come together. Like, can you walk up to a device and say, what's wrong with you? And it should be able to tell you, right? Or you can walk in and say, what is happening with this water system? And it should be able to tell you what's going on instead of you reading 100 different gauges. But there's this tsunami of telemetry data that, and that's kind of what keeping Bill busy, I bet, is like, how do you make sense of all that stuff?
How do you make sense of it? I mean, and once we build something, I mean, the deal is we operate, manage it, maintain it, and continue to build.
Right.
Yeah.
Solving problems.
Yeah, but going back to what Dimitri bitched about earlier about context, it's true. You can have data, but without additional context, you get that Samsung ad that I posted.
Yeah.
The ridiculous whatever Fallout, dystopian version of an advertisement for the Samsung event. You get that. It doesn't have context, right? It has some data points that it can maybe use from the limited prompt that I provided, but without broader context, it just spews out junk. And so that, I think that's what people need to realize, because yesterday when we were on the panel, we talked about that, right? Is the context is important, but we usually have holes in data. That means you have holes in context. And so that's what makes it so difficult to trust these AI applications unless they're narrow, specific, and intent-driven in terms of design. This whole idea that you can do this fire and forget it is becoming disproven, actually.
Right.
Especially in industrial applications. And this stuff is hard, right? So.
Yeah. And the one model to rule them all is a fallacy.
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, this is all right. So again, True North is not a platform company. We're not. We have mechanisms that we use to ingest data,
solve problems,
and solve problems. So people are like, "Oh, so you build bespoke solutions?" I'm like, you could say that because each one is unique.
Yeah.
But the contextualization of data is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. When people see us going after traffic and they're like, "Oh, well, that's not difficult." I'm like, have you ever looked at traffic data? Do you understand that space and what those data points mean, or what those data sets actually mean? Sure. If you don't understand that and you're not able to put it into context, you'll never be able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I think you're right to the point here, and this is one of the reasons why I believe personally that we have so much difficulty finding scale in software product in the industrial or physical, actually the cyber physical world, because unless you have a deep understanding of the field, which requires system integration, which is what you're doing, you can't really find anything. So there isn't scale anywhere else.
No, and you know what? It's funny because everyone's out trying to disrupt. I'm like, just go out and solve a damn problem.
Well, I give you,
And then
a
build,
great example.
A set of problems, and then tie them in a common.
At this point in time, that is disruptive. Solving the problem is disruptive.
Yeah.
I give you an example. When at the time I was at GE, there was the big wave, the early days of kind of using AI, and there was kind of anomaly detection. We have this so giant, smart algorithm. We detect for credit cards, we detect for leaks, we detect. None of these things worked because it didn't have the context, as you said, on the specific use case. So you can do statistics, detection type of stuff, but then only go so long.
Sure. Yeah. That being said, though, now it's a lot easier to take that data and turn into a data set and train models and deploy and do stuff, right? So
for a specific set of use case, we can do that.
But to that point, it becomes an extreme challenge about the integrity of the data set and how it's being trained.
Yeah. And the creation.
So that's why everyone keeps going narrow now, right? They went from this idea of general, like LLMs can basically make sense of everything, to realizing no, they can't, for a lot of reasons, and then they're going narrow with the application. So we're already seeing that, and then that shifts the whole thesis, changes the whole thesis about how revolutionary generative AI is going to be. But hey, Marc, you haven't said anything. What do you think about us delusional Americans here and all the crazy crap that we've been spewing out so far? Any reactions? And what's happening in your world, man?
In my world, everyone is talking about football or soccer.
You won.
Yeah, congratulations. That's right. You guys beat England.
They're off for the rest of the month.
Yeah, they have the soccer football hangover.
Then people realize that if you give a microphone to a sport man or a sport woman, then if you idealize that person, then the dream is over, because you realize that they're assholes. Say crappy things on microphones.
If you look at this Euro competition, actually the French didn't do a lot of football; they did a lot of politics, and see what happened to them.
There you go.
We need more sports.
Focus on the football.
Do your freaking job.
It's tricky. But it's interesting, right? That a lot of ultra-right people it's following this football, and then you see the best players, right, are immigrants. And actually, it's funny. Actually, one of the best players in the Spanish national team, he explained that his parents, 20 years ago, they crossed the Sahara Desert walking just to get into Europe.
Yeah. Wow.
So, imagine how desperate you need to be, and then suddenly, 20 years afterwards, your son is MVP of the final.
Yeah. It was actually, you might remember that, Marc, it was an issue, I think, probably about 20-25 years ago with the Netherlands, because they actually had two groups in the national team. One was from immigration, the other one was kind of the traditional white guy, and there was a lot of tension at that time. It was making news. 25 years later, it's done, but it's interesting.
Well, I guess,
Wait a minute, Ryan, are you creating an avatar? What's coming in, Ryan? What's coming in?
African,
it was bothering me that my image was square and everyone else was widescreen, so I had to install the Zoom app. I had to install it. It was, these things bug me.
Oh my God!
You're getting an insight into the real Ryan. Yeah. Now we need to make sure you got a clear view of my coworker here.
I do. I saw that from the beginning before you changed. The whole time.
So now you can put the goatee eliminator plugin.
Wait a minute, Marc's got a toy. What you got?
Ooh, what you building, Marc?
I've been working on running this Seed Studio industrial device on Balena. It's a Recomputer 1000, and it's industrial with RS485 ports here. And it has two MPCIe ports to connect cellular connectivity or LoRaWAN connectivity. It has a DIMM rail, two Ethernet ports. So working on this.
RS485, so I'm assuming you're doing some Modbus integration for some sensor data. I like it. You got and you got some industrial protocol version going on too.
Really?
Well, yeah, you have Node-RED that runs everything, right?
Yeah, Node-RED supports a lot. I like that.
Yeah,
that
so I'm
interface.
testing these devices basically with Node-RED.
Nice. Very nice.
Hey, by the way, we had
not as advanced as you guys, but I'm also working on a little thing here. This is a little module for my annual retreat, the Hacker Conference. We're building a LoRa mesh network. So
Nice. You're on the LoRa mesh networks now?
Yeah.
Is it LoRa or LoRa?
I have this.
Single
Here it
channel?
is.
Sorry?
Is it LoRa or LoRa WAN, Dimitri?
I'm not hearing you very well. Sorry.
Is it a single channel or is it a multi-channel LoRa?
I think this is a multi-channel version because you have different, we mostly use it for mesh network, and we use channels to communicate and do some puzzle type of stuff during this conference.
Yeah.
So I suspect
there is a new trendy thing on LoRaWAN that it's called Meshtastic.
Yeah, it is Meshtastic.
Meshtastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super cool actually.
Sounds
It's
delicious.
super cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
I like it.
This is a new hot thing on the LoRaWAN wall.
Yeah.
And actually, it's 2 years, even last year, because we had the first version last year working on that, it was kind of still very experimental and very buggy. It's much, much better now. So there's many different modules, and you can very quickly build those things. You have location, there's a GPS in it as well. So you can turn it on or off for privacy reasons. So it's really a fun platform to play with, to learn.
Just looking for a market.
Yes.
Oh, ouch.
That's always
By the way,
problem.
I have a kind of
LP1 technology.
I have a bad AI take for the week. A bad AI take. I was talking to a pretty big consulting firm, and they were very excited about this AI-powered churro maker that they had helped develop. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm like, is that really what we need AI for churros?
It pissed you off.
The
I was
food
like,
industry.
kind of was taken aback, and I was like, come on,
Forget the organizational efficiencies. Forget streamlining processes.
There's no situation where you need AI to make churros.
AI me a churro.
Desserts only.
This is our downfall.
Fresh churros, and that's all you need.
This is our downfall. The
It
churro.
bothered me. It just bothered me.
Wow.
The state of AI. The state of AI right now.
It's staged. It's first phase. Anyway.
Rob has his Hawaiian beads on.
Yeah. How was it? How was Hawaii?
It was great. There was no technology at all. It was just.
That's great.
It was
That's
awesome.
not true. You took a lot of pictures. Don't say that.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Lots of pictures. Yeah, my wife and daughter Caroline went to Hawaii all last week, and that was a blast. We had a great time.
I don't know. Awesome. The pizza inspired me last night, though.
Yeah. It was. You know what? Get those,
So
whether you do pizza stones on the grill or the oven, of course, now everybody and their dog's making these pizza ovens like Uni and all those other ones.
80-degree ovens or something.
But man, it's good stuff, we cheat. We use Trader Joe's dough, and probably their pizza sauce and stuff.
Not cheating. That is,
but it's so good. It's so good.
Still better than frozen.
It's much better than frozen. It's better than most of the places we go to. And of course, last night we paired it with the sequel Syrah from Long Shadows. So that's a lovely Washington Syrah,
Nice.
one of our favorites. And so that
SQL Syrah or actual the word sequel?
It's the actual word sequel, but many of us SQL Server people do enjoy that SQL Syrah more than other
I think
Syrahs.
there's causation correlation going on.
My brain got mixed up there. When you talk SQL, Rob, I immediately
says
go
SQL,
to
I know,
the
it's
SQL.
just like select star from this wine glass into me.
From this wine glass.
By the way,
Tech wine.
for the historical note, there's only one true SQL Server person here. It's me from Sybase.
It's me.
Oh my God.
No, it was not Microsoft. It was Sybase.
I used Sybase SQL Server on OS2, and then the early, like the first version they did for NT when it came out. But then you're right, Microsoft got the rights to that stuff and then succeeded with it. And
To some extent, yeah.
more Sybase.
I know. I remember those
Now,
words.
the other interesting anecdote that we relate to our group is that the first version of the SMS service at Bouygues Telecom in France was running on a little box in the corner on SQL Server.
I believe it.
Oh my god!
I believe it.
My friend was responsible for it. He called me. Said,
There
"What
you go.
is that crap?"
Wait a minute. Leonard has a mustache now.
Got a soul patch mustache.
Can you do a Fu Manchu?
Let me see. I don't know. Let me see if I can
We need to
find
have the full
a race
circle.
appropriate.
Doesn't have enough
facial
GPU
hair.
horsepower to do Fu Manchu.
I'll work on it. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I want to see. I want to see you do one of these.
I think the
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
I think I have to.
John Wick look would be pretty cool.
Yeah, John Wick.
What?
By the way, quick pitch. Rob and I broadcast episode 5 of our Windows Phone WTF this past week with Jay Allard talking about Zune and Kin and all that stuff. We got a lot of views on it. And then in 2 weeks, we have Joe Belfiore. And we're talking about the launch of Windows Phone. That's a big one.
It is a big one.
So
absolutely.
Tune
I
in.
just can't
We're on
believe
YouTube. And
watched the episode with the museum guys. I was
That was good.
oh yeah. We have the mobile phone museum guys on every show. Yeah, they have thousands of phones.
unbelievable.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. Those guys are great.
Do they have a Palm Pre? I always like the Palm Pre.
They got it all.
I always like the Palm Pre.
I like the
Didn't
Palm
get
Pre.
enough love. The
I
little
love the Palm
slide,
Pre.
you know, it was
I like
smooth.
WebOS.
Yeah, WebOS, and now what WebOS is on TVs, I think, was the
That's
last
right.
thing. Did
It's on your
LG
LG
on them or
TVs.
something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was before its time.
2 episodes ago, we had John Trainer, who was part of the Windows Mobile team, and then he went to Palm, and he was there when they built WebOS and did the Palm Pre, and lots of great history.
Mini
we
shatter
just recorded
Palm Pres.
the Lumia Nokia episode yesterday. So episode 8, I think that is. So
And
it's a nine-part series.
we were notified about a particular device that was the biggest selling device in the whole world.
The biggest selling Windows device, including laptops. That's how big this one was.
It was
You'll
a
have
big
to watch
seller.
to find out what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, this is about as big as it gets. How's this?
Oh man, you got work to do.
That's
He does have
I need
work
to go to Shaolin Temple, man.
That's
Spent,
really
5
light.
years and grow my beard and learn a little bit of kung fu, and I'll be good.
I think it's time for a Shaolin showdown. Yeah. That's what I think.
Leonard, you got a promotion for tomorrow, right? Yeah, you're on a panel tomorrow or during the
An AI panel?
No, we already recorded
Tomorrow. Yeah, we recorded it yesterday. It
The rest of the world doesn't know that.
It was epic.
really?
How to save humanity from AI or something like that.
Oh, thank God. Whew.
What happens when the robots take over? Those are all my questions I got.
Yeah. Well, I hope Tiffany Nielsen doesn't regret having me on because I
She
know
will.
over there.
She'll regret it.
No, it was fun.
She
It was
will.
fun.
She regrets being on it. Johannes hates it.
Yeah. No, he's gonna. I mean, he was probably thinking, "Oh my God, this guy is like just being real. He's not pumping up AI. What the hell?"
Not being professional.
how dare you?
I think this is the best picture I got in Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
And so, when you climb up on top of Diamond Head, and so you're looking off to the side there. And so this was with the 200 megapixel sensor. And so I should be able to blow, the lighthouse down there. I should be able to blow that up.
Poster out of that thing.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
200 megapixel is crazy.
I know.
They have these services, Rob, now that you send your photo in and it essentially prints it on this piece of glass.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah.
So you could, and then you could put it on your wall. Like they're really cool. It's very, very good quality picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm all over that.
By the way, the panel that Leonard and I were on was the Intelligent Thinking AI Summit. So that's tomorrow. So
That's tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm going to tune in.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Virtual
tune in.
summit.
panel. You can see the epic back and forth between Leonard and I. And I do. I think you do a session, Leonard, and I do a session too. So
Intelligent thinking and AI in the same sentence.
Yeah. Well, I think, I'm just really interested to see how much they edit out of like the stuff that I said.
That's always the fun part, right?
That's way too much.
truth telling going on.
Poor guys.
Interesting.
I had no idea. They didn't pre-brief me. So
I did get the questions in advance. That's why I was ready to answer about robots and weaponry and all kinds of.
yeah, I know. That was hilarious.
IoT Marc.
All right, y'all. We have now hit bottom of the hour.
Yeah. Who wants to take us out? Don't forget, elevate our kids.
I think Stephanie's going to take us out.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, Y'all put me on the spot.
Yes, we did.
I haven't had enough coffee today. I think you just need to visit elevateourkids.org. If you haven't visited, we got some really cool stuff on the site. It will show how you can donate or how you can purchase some of the what we call merch. There's a lot of merch on there. We have hoodies, T-shirts. I have some other ideas on some things we should add. But get on there and it'll take you to the Etsy shop where you can see all the things and purchase, because 100% of it goes to elevateourkids.org. And the whole focus of that organization is purchasing laptops for kids in need in K through 12. And we actually have some funds set aside, so we need to get some purchases made this fall for the upcoming school year. But thanks for supporting Elevate Our Kids.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. We'll see you next
Have a good one.
week.
IoTCoffeeTalk.com.
See you guys.
Adios.
Need more followers.
Aloha.